Thank you, Angel, and Heidi ho, everyone. Welcome to a brand new week, the second week of June, as it were, and half the year, nearly gone. Crazy. Welcome to you. Hope you're having a nice Monday, wherever you may be, and whatever time frame you're in, morning, afternoon, or evening, then I hope it's going wonderfully well for you. And you're looking at some markets that might be of interest, maybe some nice trades coming up for the week. I was just having a look at the Forex factory, as you do, and saw that there's absolutely nothing going on today in terms of medium or high value news, or high impact news, should I say. So I think we're pretty clear to go and place some trades if we want to. I actually think I am going to place a trade or two. Not on the small time frames yet, because I haven't really had a look at those, but the bigger time frames are of interest. Now, I thought, well, we better have a look at the pound first, haven't we not, before we go anywhere? And the pound looks to be having a bit of a, wow, weekly pivot, bang, gone. That's on the hourly chart. Bit of a selling day today, pound US dollar. Looking at the range, it's fairly big for the last day and a bit. Friday, well, Friday, of course, was a big day, 118 pips. And I don't think I want to be trading outside of that, to be honest. So there will be no pound US dollar breakout for the London session today. Let me see, where would I like to be on pound? We still haven't really reached the bottom of that channel yet, have we? Or have we? Maybe still a little bit to go. It's not really relevant on the weekly chart to trade anyway, but monthly pivot range, yeah, no, doesn't really do much for me, I've got to say. Don't mind the range part, but if you're thinking of trading a breakout, and that was my point, I don't see a breakout trade there that is relevant at the moment. Okay, so let's move on and back to where I was going to start the proceedings. And the proceedings for me on a weekly basis pretty much always start here. Now, if you haven't got the luxury of a market scanner, as I do, this is still a pretty simple process. If you want to, you just go into Market Watch and pick out the ones that you want to look at. In my case, it's only currencies, and just go through them that way. But the market scanner helps me to make it a whole lot easier. So that's why I'm using it. Now, what I would normally do, what I do and did do yesterday, was go through and look for key reversal bars. But on the weekly chart, when I start the week, it's always about the weekly chart. And this gives me an indication not only of the direction that I want to trade for the week, but it'll also give me an indication whether it's tradable at this time. Now, I'm looking for two things, but I go through them once, looking for key reversal bars. Now, key reversal bar, for those of you who aren't aware. Hi, Lewis. How you doing? Actually, Lewis, you trumped me on, was it Thursday? Must have been Thursday, with the euro. Well done, buddy. I'll have a look at that a little bit later. I was thinking of you when I saw the euro tumbling. Thought, Lewis, he's picked a beauty. So yeah, key reversal bar. What I call a key reversal bar is a candle whose high or low, depending on whether we're down the bottom or up the top. Well, don't have to be at the bottom or the top, really. Whose low in this case is lower than the previous bar and closes on or near its high, as this one did not. This is what dollar Sing. So I'm right down the bottom of the rate of the scale here on dollar Sing. So immediately I eliminate that. It's not a key reversal bar, so let's move to the next one. Dollar yen, key reversal bar, whose high is higher than the previous and closes on or near its low. Yes, it has. So that, to me, is an indicator that this pair may well be going south for the week. Now, it may even be tradable. think I'll get rid of all these from wherever it was last week, maybe. And I'll mark that. So dollar yen is a key reversal bar, in my humble opinion, on the weekly chart. Dollar Swissy, doji bar almost, so no. Dollar CAD, same, no. Kiwi US dollar. Low is lower than the previous bar, closed on or near its high. That's kind of a stretch, isn't it? High is here, and we're well into the candle. I would have to say no on that one for Kiwi US dollar. Next one, Kiwi yen. No, it's an inside bar. That may be of interest to us later when we come back and have a look at those. Kiwi Swissy, also an inside bar, may be interesting later when we have a look at that. Kiwi CAD, also an inside bar. Pound US dollar, no. Pound Kiwi, no. Spinning top. Pound yen, spinning top. Pound Swiss, spinning top. Pound CAD, doji. Pound Aussie, yeah, higher than its previous high, closed on or near its low. It's a bearish bar, but you wouldn't say that's near its low. I certainly wouldn't. So I would leave that one alone. Euro US dollar, spinning top. Euro Kiwi, inside bar. So it doesn't take very long. Sometimes there are a lot, but not often. This one here, high previous in the higher bar, previous high than the previous candle. Good on you, Lewis. Good on you, mate. And it closed on or near its low. So that's a tick. That is Euro yen. So that is a key reversal bar. So we want to keep that one. Let's get rid of these. Euro pound. Yeah, look, I'm going to say this is a key reversal bar. Oh. There's a candle in here somewhere. Oh, we're missing one. Must be a dead set doji. I don't know what this line is here on bloody IFS markets on the MT4. So I'm going to have to say no to that because I can't see the candle. Let me go a bit wider, see if that makes a difference. I think my chart's frozen. Not having much luck here. Oh, hang on, here we go. Got something over here that's giving me the SH1Ts. No, I'm not going to be able to see that candle. Let me have a look on another account. What's the cross? Euro pound. Euro pound. On the weekly chart. Yeah, it's a doji bar. Okay, so that's a no. Euro Swissy. Oh, hang on, we go a bit tighter. Euro Swissy, higher than the previous bar, closed on or near its low. That's a tick. And we're actually in this trade, aren't we? Yes. And as you can see from here, we gapped down this morning. In fact, if you're in that trade with me, you should have got a TP1 courtesy of the gap. I haven't. I didn't get a TP1 courtesy of the gap because I was trading it manually. So where are we? Around about entry by the look of it. I'll have a look at that a bit later as well. But that is another key reversal bar, most definitely on Euro Swissy. Tick, Euro CAD. That doesn't qualify because the high isn't higher than the previous bar. Euro Aussie. That may well. Higher than the previous. Closed on or near its low. That's a tick. That's Euro Aussie. No, I can't see it. There we go. So there are a few. Swissy yen. Inside bar, no. CAD yen. Spinning top, no. CAD Swiss. No, doji. Aussie dollar. Spinning top, no. Aussie Kiwi. Inside bar. But that's interesting. We'll come back and have a look at that. Aussie yen. Spinning top, no. Aussie Swiss, spinning top, no. And Aussie CAD, close. Lower. I'd have to say a tick on that one. So it's closed on or near its high. So Aussie CAD comes into calculations as well. Now, very, very quickly, we'll go back and have a look at the inside bars. Actually, I'll just look at the ones that have been identified here by this market scanner. Aussie Kiwi. Aussie Kiwi is certainly an inside bar, big one, but it's certainly an inside bar, but it's not preceded by a key reversal bar. So therefore, it doesn't qualify for my weekly trade. Swissy yen, inside bar, yes. Arguable, isn't it? Is that a key reversal bar? No. So we leave that one alone. What was next? Where are we? Swissy yen, inside bar, inside bar. There could well be more inside bars that this hasn't identified, but I'm just, for the sake of time, I'm going to just skip through these. Pound yen is definitely one. If that was a key reversal bar, which it isn't, remembering that the low of this candle has to be lower than the previous low of the previous candle. So that's a no as well. That is pound yen. We've got Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD's an inside bar. The low is lower than the previous bar, but it hasn't closed near its high, so answer's no. Kiwi Swissy. Key reversal bar, question mark. Has that on or near its high? It's kind of 50-50. You could toss a coin and say yes or no. I actually don't mind this, though. You can get your entry above last month's monthly pivot. Get your stop loss down here. Interesting. I'll make a judgment on that a little bit later after we've had a yak to ash, which we will do very, very shortly. Kiwi yen looks to be the last of them, and key reversal bar, yes. Inside bar, yes. Trade, or do I want to trade up here? I don't think so. But good part is we're way down here, and we may be able to take advantage of that bias by getting in down here somewhere. I don't see that on the daily chart at the moment. Do I see it on the 4 hour? Lots of legs down here, isn't there? I don't see anything that's compelling, but we can certainly come back and have a look. So on the watch list, we have Kiwi Swiss, dollar yen. Am I going the right way? I'm going the wrong way. Oh, this stupid thing. Kiwi Swiss, dollar yen. Now I'm going up. Euro yen, Euro Swiss, Euro Aussie, and Aussie CAD. There we go. The best of them, I thought, were the Kiwi pairs, Swissy and yen, but I can't trade Kiwi yen long, I'm afraid. It just doesn't make sense to me at the moment from where we are. As I said, maybe on the smaller time frames. Aussie CAD's interesting, and both the Euro pairs, Swissy and yen as well. I'm putting a fair bit of focus on the risk off currencies, Swissy and yen, according to my little test there with key reversal bars. So I'll bring Ash in. G'day, buddy. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you very much, mate. How's things been?
I can't hear you. I don't know whether it's me or it's me.
Can't...
Sorry.
Okay. How's things going? All right.
Yeah, good, bud. Good.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, I'm interested in the short in the FTSE this morning. I'm going to show you the trade and show you what's going on. I don't feel too safe at this stage is the only thing. So let's see if we can get to it, and I'll bring you my analysis and we will have a look together.
Sure. So, hey, Paul Pete.
Hey, Paul. This is a futures chart here, but it is effectively showing us exactly the same price action. So prices will be different, but the price action will be the same, if not, similar, if not the same. Now, there is an uptrend that we can see going on here, which is just posing a little bit of a problem. And the issue is, you know, as much as I'd like to go short, this is a buy zone and it's not a sell zone. And it won't become a sell zone until it goes through and back again. Now, there's always a risk that you just miss the trade because it goes through and keeps going. But it's just not the safest way to do it. The safest area in this small area, there's two, obviously, would be, one of them would be the high. Now, whether it's going to get back to the high is questionable. So it's here, we trade there, or we trade the daily pivot. If it goes through, then we're going to try and trade back in this area. So it wouldn't be so bad if it comes all the way down, closes somewhere down here eventually, then pops back up, and then we're looking for the weekly pivot for our entry. Now I will bring in the FTSE 100 chart so you guys can match what we'd be looking at on a normal FTSE chart as well. So the market is heavy this morning, mate. It's when it started off, I was almost I was edging towards buying. A bit heavier than edging, you know. I was weighted towards buying the market, but it opened up, and straight away it's just started to. I don't want to use the word collapse because it would be a little bit extreme, but you can see that the selling pressure is definitely
there's
there.
intent there. Yes,
there's intent. Yeah, there's intent to the downside. Now, obviously, non-farm payrolls and all that stuff on Friday really helped the market. The unemployment data actually on Friday really helped the market out, and we had a decent pop to the upside. Now I've been short on the Nasdaq, and I ended up getting my second half of the profit
Nice.
closed up. Yeah, it was a decent trade, mate. But this is where you need the news to go in your favour, and it just didn't go in our favour. You know, we had decent numbers.
Oh, you closed up the wrong way.
Okay. Kind of. I mean, it was, you know, I made money out of it, but I was looking for further down for
you know,
further...
isn't that a real thing at the moment? It's really difficult to get follow through.
Yes, it
really difficult.
Yeah, and that tells me something quite significant. And what that tells me is that traders are keen to go short, really. But the data is not backing up their theory. So let's say that forget a direction. They are keen to go in a direction, which is why it keeps pushing in a specific direction. But then the data comes out, and then there's a whole bunch of other traders that are quite happy to push the market in the opposite direction because the data is not backing up the timing of that particular opinion. And the opinion certainly is, I think right now in the market, the opinion appears certainly to be, when we look at the FTSE 100, the Nasdaq, and some of those more the risk on kind of products, the risk does seem to be more to the downside than it does to the upside. But then the data comes out, it doesn't back up the timing of the downside, so then the market starts to pop back up again. But we're seeing it getting suppressed. You know, it's not able to kind of get any traction to the upside either, and it's basically telling me that you know, there are a large group of people or institutes or companies that are getting out at these particular levels. They're quite happy to take profit at this particular level.
Well, I think I should be as well. You know, I'm actually, I spoke about it last week while we were away, and I'm on the bigger time frames. I'm certainly going to look at it, taking 75% of my position off at TP1.
Yeah. I think that's wise. Yeah. This is one of those, isn't it? You kind of have to adjust your approach at times. If you
want to make any money,
if you're going to make any money, yeah. Which is why I quite like this. The way that I've been approaching the market recently, which is really all about just coming out of first contact, and not worrying about the rest of what happens, because then you just do the same the next day. So there's always an opportunity, effectively. Now, if it does look like it's going to go a long way, maybe we can adjust it. But that's very difficult because, as I say, the Nasdaq. Actually, that's the approach I took with the Nasdaq last week. It looked like it was going to go a long way. Then all of a sudden, the data comes out and it flips around. Now, when I took this Nasdaq, I took it up here. So when I was all the way down at the monthly pivot, it's a strong level, and you know, inevitably it was going to hold at that point. But after holding, what I needed was the news to back up what the speculators that pushed the market down were thinking. It needed to push it down another leg, and then we were really off to the races. But that just didn't happen. But then we've had Yellen come out again today, and you know, there's a headline on Bloomberg that she's saying that higher interest rates would be a plus for the US Fed. And okay, she's not in the Fed, but she was a Fed chairman, and she's going to have some influence, I would suspect. And she can certainly cause some jitters in the market, and that's possibly what's going on today. there's the data that we had last Friday has not been wiped away. That there hasn't been a change of sentiment all of a sudden, but maybe that one quote has just swept away what happened last Friday. So we are looking for the short. The summary of this is that we are looking for the short, and now it's just how can we get in and where can we get in? Now that the weekly pivot, all of a sudden, now we've broken through this trend line, is the obvious place. That's the target that I'd like to take there. So let's put this into everybody else's broker language, because I know you guys haven't got futures. I'll be the same, yeah. So you're still aiming for the weekly pivot. So looks like 757, between 757 and 755 would be the area to try and get in to the downside, in my opinion. So that's what I'm looking at, and it looks the same on here, 758 to 755, yeah. So anywhere around there. Now, if we get a pop to the upsides, it's only going to pop 15 pips, and if it pops 15 pips, then I will be short. So I'm just waiting on that right now. Now, if we look at some of the longer term timeframes as well, and check out what they are suggesting, where's the target? You can see that there is support here on the daily, which is why this particular area is a little bit tricky. But when we look down and have a look at what's down here, then there's a potential 1% run, maybe slightly better than 1% run, so around about 60 pips to the downside. That's not going to be my target, because, as I say, I want to get first contact if I can, rather than worrying too much about trying to make huge profits out of this. So first contact at this stage looks like it's down here. So I'll probably try and get the weekly pivot back down to this low here, and aim for about 20 pips. So that means stops at the highs. Going to be a 30 pip stop loss for around about 20 to 25 pip profit target. That's what I will aim for, mate. So not as good as 1-to-1 today, but I quite like the trade, so I'm happy to take it on if it gives me the opportunity to do so. Looks like the trend line here, if we just draw this in, there's one here, and it comes down around about there. Which means that stops at the highs should be safe. I mean, is this not a classic slingshot here, mate? False break to the upside, back inside the bar. You'd want to be entering the low of the bar, right? If this
I
wouldn't
trade that.
You wouldn't trade this?
No, the bar's too big.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'd have to put my stops above the high then now.
Yeah. It would have been better if it had closed here, right? Sorry, if it's not gone below.
A nice little bounce off the daily or weekly pivot, then give us a lower high would have been beautiful.
Yeah.
But that's a long setup as well. But again, the candle's too big. I couldn't trade that.
Right. Looks like this is our target then. So somewhere in this area is going to be the target down here. So somewhere in about 70-30. So we really do need this this weekly pivot. If we don't get the weekly pivot, it's just not going to make it. It's just not going to make it value enough. It's almost a 1-to-2, which I think I would I'd be stretching the friendship really with the markets to kind of go for a 1-to-2. But I don't mind a 1.5 trade against. But I don't think I could take a 1-to-2. So if it comes back to this yellow line, I am in, mate. That's going to be the plan. I will tell you if I get entered.
I think we need a Monday thing, and I've got a Monday thing. So we're going to do.
Monday. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do a Monday thing, and you don't need to do it this week, but if you can pick one for next week as well, that would be good. I mean, it may be that we don't have one. It depends on what the market does. But I'm going to place a trade on the weekly chart every week if there's a setup, and there normally is for me, and just ride that and see how it goes on Mondays. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
This week, I've got a few choices. I might get you to help and give me your opinion on which one we should take for the week. You got to say congratulations to Dominic as well, mate.
Okay, I'm selling, mate. I've just sold, as you can see. Just sold the FTSE 100.
Cool.
Yeah. Sold the FTSE 100. So my target, as I say, is going to be down here. Let's put the stops up here. Okay. So stops at the highs, target down the bottom. Sorry, mate. We're saying congratulations to Tom and I'm just going to fix these up while we speak here. I've just got a couple of other
right.
accounts.
And also to Gyra when he comes in the room. He's a daddy now.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. All righty. Dominic a daddy again, is he?
No, he got the double yesterday. He got he wishes. He got in Julian's show, he won the 2 week, I think it's 2 weeks into Julian's group.
Yeah.
And he also won the what is a brand new seat? I thought Paul was going to a free course. Yeah, cool. Paul was saying there's a prize today, and it's going to be the first seat. And I'm going, holy dooly, he's really gone out here. This is going to be on the space shuttle. But no, it was a free course. And I don't know what the free course is, but of course, I'm sure you do by now, Dominic. So that's all good. Okay. So anyway,
yep.
Are you done with that one?
Yeah.
Or you just putting some levels up?
Yeah, I'm just going to go. There we go. I'm going to sell this a few times on the way up.
Cool.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry, I was completely distracted there as this was going higher. I just thought there might be one more opportunity to get in. There we go.
Yep. Do you need to voice those levels, or are you good?
Well, it's basically the same thing. I mean, it's the weekly pivot. I entered one down here, so the same way that I do things with always with my trades, where I will use no leverage and just edge my way in. If it pops up higher. So if I like my direction, and I'm pretty good. I feel pretty good about the direction. We've had a break to the downside, so we got our lower low, and it's just, it's effectively basic chart pattern, isn't it? I'm looking for the lower low, and I'm just trying to pick up the lower high, and could have been weekly pivot. Looks like the daily pivot might even be seen, might even get this point here again, and I'll probably edge in another position there as well, and then that'll be it. So that's going to be the high up there, but I quite like, as I say, I quite like the direction, and then the target is going to be down here somewhere, actually probably about there. So target down at the lows, but yeah, all good, mate, all good. We're all in on all the accounts.
We're not all in, but we're
not all in, but yeah, all the management is done.
Yep. Cool. Righto. Then I will seek your opinion on which position we're going to take for the weekly for this Monday.
So run that past me again then. So we are looking for a weekly position.
Yep, we're going to take a weekly position each week. If you've got a setup, then fine, we'll take that. If I've got a setup, fine, we'll take that. If there's no setup, obviously we don't take anything. But I went through the watch list that I have based on the rules that I use for the weekly directional bias. And I've come up with what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So I've got euro against the yen, euro against the Swissy. Sorry, I put them on the weekly chart just so you can see them. There you can see it bold and true. Euro against the yen. So that would be a long.
Yep.
But it's at the highs, so I don't really like that. Euro against the Swissy, which is a, hang on, weekly chart, which is a short based on this key reversal bar. Kiwi versus the Swissy, which is based on this, sorry, this key reversal bar followed by an inside bar. So that would be a buy there. Kiwi versus the yen, which is based on key reversal bar, inside bar, entry there, stop loss there. Don't like that. And Aussie CAD. Actually, did I get Aussie CAD right? I don't think it is. Yeah, it's kind of a key reversal bar, but the reason I liked it is because of its position. And of course, as you know, we were in Aussie CAD and traded it right down to here, trailed it. We really tightened our stops up when we got down to here. And of course, they've now been hit. And that turned out to be a pretty good trade. So we're now out of that, looking for longs.
All right. Well, how about we do it this way then? If you bring in the technicals, yep, and I will add the COT, the seasonals, and a little bit of the fundamental data as well. All right. And see where we go from there. Now, I can tell you that this week, the most obvious shorting opportunities, or even the most obvious trading ones, really, is the CAD short in accordance to COT data, and the pound short in accordance to COT and seasonal data.
Well, the only CAD trade we've got is Aussie CAD long.
Okay, that works.
If the Aussie makes sense to you.
Yeah, the Aussie's a tricky one, isn't it? Because it's another
very tricky.
Kind of, yeah, it's a commodity based. I mean, I would be, that's where we need to get get. Well, yeah, I suppose in some respects, we could look at the Aussie. I don't see why not. I mean, certainly, like Friday's data helps things like the Aussie out, because the jobs data being weak, or weaker than expected. It wasn't weak. It was weaker than expected. What that does is it puts the assumption that the Fed are on hold, and if the Fed are on hold, then it will continue to boost those risk-on assets, and the risk-on asset is obviously the Aussie. So I think looking at the Aussie is okay. I think that would be okay.
Okay, well, the only other two that you really need to look at, well, three really, is the Kiwi, the Swissy, and the yen. And there you go again. Well, you've got a contrast there really now between risk on, risk off.
Yeah. Well, I like it personally. I like the Swissy is probably my favorite currency right now. The COT data didn't agree with that, but I like the Swissy. I like kind of what shape they're in, you know, as an economy.
Okay, so Euro Swissy short makes sense.
Euro Swissy short would make sense. Yep.
We're already in that one from last week. So let's have a look at Aussie CAD.
Not can't get an a CAD Swissy, could we?
CAD Swiss, let me have a look. CAD Swiss weekly chart. Yeah, look, it's nearly there, but it's not perfect. Wow, look at that chart. Really? You want to trade this, Ash?
So okay, so it's got to be placed on the Monday, right?
Yes, we're going to place it on Monday.
We've got to place it on the Monday. Okay, well, if there's no technicals there, we can't trade it. It's as simple as that, isn't it? So the winners right now technically are the Euro Swiss, the Aussie CAD, and what was the other one you had?
Well, you can have Kiwi Swissy, but Kiwi Swissy short, I think.
Yeah, Kiwi Swissy short.
No, Kiwi Swissy's long.
Kiwi Swissy long, okay. Kiwi in accordance to COT and seasonality is actually pretty good. So, and the Swissy did actually, you know, the COT data this week did show some selling with the Swissy. So, so Kiwi Swiss would be quite good too. But
well, I actually like that.
Okay.
I actually like Kiwi Swissy long because you've broken through this where you can see it pretty much where price is, but I reckon that level there or thereabouts, there's a bit of a cloud of a price, but it's kind of there somewhere.
Okay.
And we've broken it. We've certainly broken above it, and now we've retested it. And this bar here on the monthly chart suggests to me that it's rejecting that level, and the weekly is doing exactly the same. So this key reversal bar, which is a little bit questionable, it's near its high. It bounced off the monthly pivot, yes, but this candle really didn't get into that bar too much before it reversed. So that's the basis of the trade. I think the inside bar is worth trading. So we're going to take that. All right.
Good. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. I like it.
So I'll give you the levels. So Mondays, we'll have to come up for a name for this too. I'm not sure what it'll be, but I'll certainly write it down. Kiwi Swissy weekly. Now you leave this open, guys. If you're going to follow this, this will stay open for the entire week. If not triggered, we'll cancel it at just before the close. So the long entry will be at 65.55. So 0.6555. The stop loss will be at 0.6439.
Okay.
I'll have a look at a TP1. It looks pretty obvious to me, though. TP1 needs to be there-ish. That won't give us anything. So
I'll get more prepared for this next week as well, mate, and give you a...
yeah, I didn't. Well, I gave you no notice. I just made it up, right?
Yeah, well, I like it. I think it's a great idea.
TP1 is 66.18. So 0.6618.
Okay.
So you're risking, what, 116 pips to get 63. That's okay by me. So the rules are, when you hit TP1, you take half off the table and you move your stop loss, whatever it is you take at TP1, which was what? 63. So at TP1, your stops would go to 65.02. Got it?
I think we got it.
Righto, happy days. But, you know, I think there's validity in Aussie CAD as well. But I do think we need a little bit of a pullback on Aussie CAD. Just give us a higher low in here, and I'll be looking at that really closely come probably Wednesday if we can get a higher low in here. So a selling day tomorrow, or even today's fine, but if we've got a selling day tomorrow and brought us down to here, I think that I'd be keen to get into Aussie CAD long. Completely against the trade that we took. Remember, we traded this bar here and our stops trailed, I think, to about where that black line is. So we nearly got all of that move, which was pretty good on the downside. But now I think it's time for a breather. And if we can take advantage of that, happy days on Aussie CAD. And both of the Kiwi pairs are valid on the weekly, but I can't get interested long Kiwi. I could on a smaller time frame, I suppose. But it just doesn't have the same appeal because getting long here after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, 7 months of Kiwi yen going long doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
so,
well, that's fair enough. And as I say, I'll if we split it up, so you take charge of the technicals, and I'll give you the fundamental and a market bias kind of aspect of it, then we should be in pretty good shape, hopefully.
So Alexis looking at Aussie weakness, Lewis. Okay. I agree with her, and I hope she's right down to here, and then I can look to pick it up. So I hope it does. It is weak for the first half of this week, and then we can pick it up as a long later on in the week. That would suit me down to the ground.
Yeah, as you say, mate. I mean, it's really interesting markets at the minute in many respects, and probably quite dangerous in some respects as well. The FTSE has just flown all the way back to the upside, and it's probably going to stop us out actually on this. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a trade on this Monday morning in profit. It looks pretty bad at this second, but we'll see what. Yeah, it's gone. It's stopped out. Crazy bar, really, and it's just flipped its way to the downside, all the way back to the upside again, and it's looking like a crazy bar as well. It's I'm not sure what that's about. Might need to have a listen to the news later on, but the only release that we had since then was some HPIs from the house price index from the UK. So I wonder whether it's going to be quite an emotive move. Now, my other account, I'm going to stick with it because of the lack of leverage, as you guys know. So I'm going to try and stick with this market. I still quite like the downside. Things have changed somewhat, so might be another entry maybe at some point later on. But if you're trading with a stop loss above that previous high that we were looking at before, that's been stopped out on one of the accounts, the ATW account that I do trade that way on, that has now closed that position. So yeah, pretty volatile opening session, mate, and it does look like the market might have turned around its sentiment a little bit.
Yep.
The surge. The heat map's a tricky one, actually, Lewis. I mean, yes, I do have the heat map on the FTSE, but the heat map's a tricky one because it does become quite nuanced in some respects, and it can be quite misleading. And I think I think so far this morning it's not really giving us anything clear. If anything, it probably is slightly higher, but it does look quite choppy. I mean, I'll very quickly show you this, mate, just because we were in this trade and it's now closed up. So just so we get the analysis on it. And I'm not encouraging people to trade this way because everybody's different, but it's just the way I do things. I won't close this position. I'll manage it differently. So I'll hedge it out somehow later on, and I'll fix it up. But if you're in on the proper one, look at that bar that we've seen here, all the way down, back. Oh yeah, I mean it's just pretty vicious at this stage, and the heat map really hasn't really, but what the heat map is picking up on is chop, which is why another reason I'm holding a position now. Don't get me wrong, I will close positions if it looks like the market's turning in the opposite direction, and it might, but at this stage, the heat map's just kind of saying, we don't really know what to do. It is more positive than when we opened up. So maybe we see this high up here, and if that starts to look like the case, then I'll go somewhere else and I'll hedge out the risk, and I'll probably use the Nasdaq for that. But at this stage, that the market just looks still a little uncertain, and I guess it's that kind of Monday feel about it. We had some specific data over the weekend. There's still that kind of hangover from how traders are feeling. As I said before, the news is not in agreement with what sentiment appears to be out there. I mean, I might be completely wrong on the sentiment, but I wonder whether we are going to get that sell-off that Gordon Scott was talking about, that hasn't yet materialized. We haven't had that May the 14th sell-off, and I said really when it happened that I would give him at least a 6-week grace on trying to pick that particular date, because picking the exact time when people are going to all of a sudden coming out of positions is very, very difficult. And the reason it's difficult is that you don't know what's going to appear and transpire at that particular moment. So we are looking at what is going to drive this market down. Yellen coming out and saying that she believes that higher interest rates from the Fed will bring the market to the downside. It will bring it lower. But if we look around the grounds at what's been going on so far, gold is not sticking. If anything, gold is now looking a little bit weak, and we were considering gold for a pullback anyway. So gold pulling back into this area would make it a lot more attractive. You get that inverted head and shoulders here, left shoulder there, down to the head, come round down here, give us a right shoulder to then go long off would be a lot better. But you see, gold is weakening. The dollar index, it popped to the upside, and then we get to, after that, so that Friday data cruises back to the downside, but back into this area, which is the buy zone. So the dollar's in a buy zone, which is suggesting if there's going to be a turn, and I don't know how you feel about it, mate. You must have looked at the dollar index, and
I have, yes.
yeah, you must be looking at this and thinking the same as me. I would presume that this just looks like a lower high. Yes, a very aggressive looking bar, but we're not looking at bars in isolation here. We're looking at what's the overall price action, and the overall price action is that we've got this double bottom here on a weekly chart, might even be on the monthly as well. Wow, even better. We've got a double bottom here on the monthly, really, from way back. It's not even as recent as the weekly, but this is back in 2018. Double bottom there on the monthly, a more recent double bottom here on the weekly, and then we have a higher low on the daily. I mean, it's shaping up for upside if you were to look specifically at the technical patterns of this. You should be looking at the dollar long.
100% agree. To do it, to trade it is almost against my religion.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally see it. Dollar Swissy, dollar yen. How can I trade long dollar Swissy? I just can't at the moment, but it's looking that way.
Yeah. Trading dollar Swissy, yeah, well, and that would be the one, wouldn't it? Because it usually, I know it's not necessarily as weighted as the euro, but it's the one that looks pretty much the same as the dollar index.
Dollar CAD looks. Actually, I haven't looked at the dollar CAD chart, but that might be interesting if there is going to be CAD weakness. That might be an interesting one.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Well, the COT data would be based on
the dollar
as well.
A little buy opportunity there at the top of that range, but trading into the top of that range makes it difficult. So maybe a break of that range and a retest of that range could be interesting. I can see a buy above that. What's that daily chart?
This is the daily, yeah.
Above Friday's bar makes sense to me.
And then you're effectively, and if we think about this, and this is why I don't subscribe to the kind of statement that you would not look at you're not trading the news necessarily. Not looking at the news is different to not trading the news. I think every trader understands that you're always trading the news, because you need that news to kind of have follow through or pull back. It doesn't mean you have to listen to it, as long as you're aware of the fact that there might be something in there that might make your trade a little bit sticky. But we need to make sure that we're on top of that. And that brings me to really sort of think, what's going to be the catalyst? I might take another short in the FTSE in a moment, mate, if it doesn't manage to break through the high. It's pretty volatile, sure. So it might be a vicious one, but we'll see how we get on. What's going to drive this market? Doesn't look like there's a whole bunch out today, so the dollar shouldn't collapse today. Maybe it eases to the upside even on the day. I don't know. Tomorrow doesn't look like a whole bunch either. There's a lot of yellow folder news, and to be fair, I wouldn't personally be changing the color of that in my mentally. Bank rate of Canada. Now, I wonder whether this might start to affect a trend in the CAD. It's going to affect the price action. Will it affect a trend in the CAD? May not be able to get itself moving. I don't know. 10-year bond auction, though, from the United States on Wednesday. Pretty important data release. But the big one.
Tell you what, sorry, if the BOC suddenly got hawkish, I think the CAD would take off. It's already,
Oh gosh, yeah.
In terms of interest rate differential, it's already right up there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only it and the dollar, isn't it? That's at 0.25%, I think. From my memory.
Yeah, I believe you're right, mate. If the thing is, it's going to be about rhetoric, isn't it? Because they are unlikely to do anything, and I don't think any central banks are going to do anything really in the next session or two. But certainly the rhetoric from Canada actually has been a bit more hawkish. So I wonder whether they might come out and either row back on that, which means that people would then sell the CAD off, or
that makes dollar CAD good.
And it will make dollar CAD good, or would they actually enhance that, enforce that, and say, yeah, we've still got the same opinion that that we will be tightening before the end of the year, for example, and that's what we're all waiting for. And this brings us
of course, sorry, add to that oil broke through resistance last week
yeah,
as well, so
yeah.
that adds to
Another
it as well.
another interesting one, another interesting piece of the jigsaw puzzle with the CAD, isn't it? With oil. Um, is oil ready for a move back in the opposite direction? Yes, it is. But does it have a catalyst? Not yet. And I suppose maybe there's some oil inventories, which might make a difference this week if it's particularly extreme. But that the previous at negative 5.1 million barrels was actually pretty bullish for oil. So does that change? Possibly. The 10-year bond auction, as I say, but this is the number, isn't it? I mean, we got the monetary policy statement from the ECB. Yeah, yes, it will be interesting. ECB press conference. Lagarde nowhere near as significant as Draghi, or she doesn't seem to want to play in the same way as Draghi, but she might still say something. But this is where it really starts to heat up. CPI is out of the United States, so we might be waiting on till Thursday before we get any genuine price action that we can really grab hold of for the week. And maybe we wait till Thursday. Maybe we wait till Thursday, see what happens on Thursday, and then we make a decision. Because my personal opinion is the market is bursting to buy the dollar, and it is bursting to sell off equities. That's just the way. That's the way it feels. And I know we shouldn't talk about the way things feel in the market. We should really be taking our kind of emotional connection out of it.
It does go to market sentiment, though, really, and that's a consideration.
Yeah, and that's the consideration I'd have here, mate. I have this kind of like this thing that is currently kind of coming back at me, this energy that is coming back at me from the market, which is saying we just want to buy this dollar and we want to sell equities off for a period, but there's just no reason to do it. There's nothing to light the torch paper, and I wonder whether this might be the thing. And if it's not, it'll be the next thing. And if it's not, it's the next thing. I mean, unemployment claims might also play a part on that. Is there anything Friday which is significant? Nah. So it looks like, oh, actually, yeah, University of Michigan's consumer sentiment, another one. Another kind of inflationary print as well. So the market's got a couple of opportunities to maybe express what I believe it is bubbling to suggest and bubbling to say at this stage without having the catalyst. But I think we can wait on Thursday. I think that's fine, especially if Thursday's number is providing the dollar with the catalyst it needs. Because if the dollar's going to go, it's going to go for a while. I would suspect, and the initial emotive move, I would have thought we'll have some follow through. Because remember, we're positioning ourselves for a year out, a year to 18 months out. So if they get an idea that the Fed's going to get hawkish, they'll buy it for a while, in my opinion.
Look, you would think so, and I agree with that sentiment. But gee whiz, it's had a few false starts, hasn't it?
Yes,
in the last
has.
12 months. It really
Which is
has.
making it hard. It's making it difficult to trade, isn't it? I mean, I suppose the other thing you do is like, completely deleverage, buy the dollar here on that lower on the higher low, and just wait it out. And if you get things in your favor, then it pops the upside. If it doesn't, close the position out. You've got no leverage, so it's no big deal. And wait until the next message, if there is one.
Yeah, look, it's why I'm completely comfortable trading weekly and monthly and daily charts at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be out of all that hash and froth and bubble I'm completely comfortable trading those charts at the moment. I'm not getting a lot of follow through, and that's why I'm needing now to reassess the TP1s. But Aussie CAD, we got a really good trade out of Aussie CAD. Pound CAD, we're still in. That's going okay. There's quite a few others that have hit TP1 and Aussie yen. Are you still in that?
Yeah.
Well, that's another one where I got TP1, but as soon as it hit that TP1 base, it tried to get through the pivot, but couldn't get through the pivot and back up to entry in it.
I'm still in this, mate, and it's one of those things that is incredibly frustrating, really, for me, because this is now the obvious kind of place it stops anyway. Now I don't think that will quite. No, it won't. That won't even break me out. That won't even give me break even. I need 83.90 to get me out of break even on this one, and I will probably wait for it. I mean, the yen is just heading into a very very strong seasonal period, so I'm
Gee,
okay
it
with
could
you.
do with it could do with some help. It's had a
Yeah.
shocking 12 months, really.
Yeah, it has had a shocking 12 months, and the question really when it comes to to trading anything with the yen, and I wish I'd chosen the Swissy, because I would have been in much better shape.
Mm, mm.
But because it was a balance between the two, but I chose the yen anyway, and really with the yen, the only two things that are going to save it, obviously, if all of a sudden the market comes risk off, which, as I say, that's the way it feels to me that that we're going to get. But probably the way that this price action has reacted, I probably won't now wait. Before my plan was to kind of hold until down here. I'm not sure I'm going to do that now. I'm not sure. It depends on what what's going to be the driver. But if the driver looks like it's relatively transitory, I'll probably just try and get out with a little bit of profit and close up and just forget this thing, because it's just it hasn't helped me out at all. It hasn't been a lucrative position. Well, I'm down at the minute with this one, so I'm not loving it. But one thing that is filling me with a little bit of calm is that it hasn't gone anywhere. This area is we're still in this area, and I've got no leverage on it as well. So I've
There's
got
a
one.
there's a definite breakout coming. That ascending triangle is suggesting that there's a breakout not too far away.
It does say that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does say that, and again, it's just about timing. But yeah, timing this one has proven to be impossible, really, for me. I've not got it right at all. But we got patterns within patterns, head and shoulders going on here. Does this break down? There's as you say, there's this I don't know. I don't know. Might even be a triangle. Might be a wedge. I'm not really sure. Maybe a rising wedge, which is
Yeah,
tends to be quite
there's a
bearish.
channel there as well. That's all over.
Yeah.
There's everything. And look, my analysis was 100% behind yours. I saw this going short, but it's just not ready.
No, it's not ready. It's not ready. So yeah, I'm still in that, mate. I'm holding on to these positions, and that's the only thing about I'm holding on to this footsie short right now. But this is the only thing with this with the footsie short is that uh, I'm kind of I don't. If I was long with a footsie, the Aussie yen kind of hedges out the problem, the risk. But now I've got double positions short, and yes, one of them is shorter position, shorter time frame, but I've got two positions short, which starts to now add a different dynamic to the way that I'm going to have to manage this, which I'll have to do. I'll have to think on it, and let's hope it's not just a bit of a Monday hangover. I don't think it is. I still see the market being a little bit weak, but I'm not as comfortable as I was when it first opened up this morning.
Okie dokie. I think it is Monday. It's the Monday thing where we're going to see too much at all today, but you never know.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. And as we head towards Thursday, then we will probably get more of an idea of how participants are feeling about it. And this is one of the reasons that I don't like to sort of like take a snapshot. I like to look at what's the big picture and try and trade in that direction if possible. But taking a snapshot on a Monday morning is it doesn't tend to be that useful. It just kind of I think it can end up confusing matters a little bit. So I am going to look at this on a broader term picture and get an assumption of what the week looks like. Much the same as you're trying to do with that new trade.
Yeah. Yep. Look, that's been the way I've been doing things for the last, I don't know, 6 months maybe.
Yeah.
Because I've just picked up this liking for the weekly charts giving me a direction for the week, and once that's there, and it often happens that they go in completely the opposite direction until it does hit Wednesday or Thursday. And then it provides an opportunity to get in on the shorter time frames to actually trade it back to where I thought it was going to go in the first place.
Yeah.
So it can be quite beneficial, really
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
to have that bias set up from Monday or Sunday even, which is when we do our analysis. So yeah, I'm quite keen on it. Works
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. I think that's good. Well, we've got Shukri in tomorrow, and I think it's worth talking about Bitcoin. I don't know if you've been watching the cryptocurrency markets, but
No,
well,
no.
it's struggling, mate. It's struggling. Bitcoin is struggling to get itself up. I would love to see Bitcoin down another 50%. It would just be so attractive down here, and the way I'm seeing it, I don't see why it wouldn't get here as well. You know, it really could happen. Just getting us into this 20 area. Just the reason I like that is is this high here. This high would just be matching that trend line,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to absolute perfection. Now I don't know what. Let me just pull up a fib as well, and I wonder whether that might give us a 61% retracement. Let's see. No, it's going to be a bit below that, but it does look good. But look at that chart. I mean, that's a monthly chart. It's
It's
crazy.
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and lots of fun to trade cryptos, but I do think that that there's enough burning going on right now to make it probably quite scary for a lot of people. But it gets down here, then I think it's a different picture. Ethereum is relatively similar, but it is having a bit more of a boost actually today so far. If we look at that, a little bit more of a boost, and the Ethereum pattern looks a lot more healthy than Bitcoin, even though again I'd really like to see Ethereum down here, because even if we stay in this area, this is still pretty parabolic. That would be a better angle, really, coming down there, but that's still a pretty steep angle for any market to kind of go in. So I'd like to see Ethereum a bit lower. Whether it gets there, I'm not sure, but Bitcoin,
What was the
Ethereum.
previous chart you were on? Sorry, the time frame on Ethereum.
This one, it was the monthly, I think. Oh no, it was the daily.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
You like that for what, up or down?
Well, either way, it looks like there's a breakout coming. You've got an ascending triangle there as well.
Yeah. Yes, we have.
The thing is with those triangles, most people would recognize an ascending triangle as a breakout to the high side, maximum probability. The key with trading triangles, or to my mind, any pattern, is to wait. And if that breakout, which will come, there's no question it'll come, if that breakout is real, then you may be able to pick it up as a lower high if it's going short, higher low if it's going long. But the most powerful part about triangles and all those sorts of things is when they break false and you can pick them up going the other way. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
So predicting which way doesn't really interest me, which way it's going to break. It's what happens after it does.
Yes, I was looking at Bitcoin, and actually, if you look at Bitcoin, it's kind of something similar with a pattern. But when I looked at this, what I was wondering is there actually a bear flag?
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's getting a little bit long in it. What we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, it's a long time. It's almost too many bars really to now be a bear flag. But if it broke down in the next 3 days, I think we probably could use it. And again, that does bring us down. I mean, that brings us down even lower. So I'm not sure whether people would be too keen on that being a bear flag, but it's possible that that's what we're looking at. As I say, it's getting a bit long in the tooth, and maybe we are now looking at that triangle pattern instead. But if we were to use the triangle measured move instead of the bear flag, then the triangle does lead us down nearer this 20 to 23 area, which I quite like. As I say, I think if Bitcoin was down there, then a green light to buy it without a pattern probably would be fine. In this area, I'm not too keen, and I'll be with you. I'd be wanting it to break to the upside and break out of that pattern, which would still lead to people being able to buy it at 40,000, which seem a lot more attractive than 65 now. So I think that's okay. But personally, I'm not that keen on the crypto market at this stage. I think there's some really good things down the road, and there's some great things coming, but the price action and the technicals have to come into play, because what may end up happening for a lot of people is that they got this crypto currency, they've got a great idea, but all they end up doing is making a mistake because they are not using their experience with reading charts to get a decent price, and they just kind of go into it because of fear of missing out. Now, I'm hoping that we are kind of beyond that, and the only real way to get beyond the fear of missing out is to go, if I miss it, I miss it, and I'll find something else.
Lewis, what's he done now? I was reading a headline there earlier that said he was either buying or selling. I don't know what, probably buying. Some not pornographic, but
yeah,
what's
some
that
adults. Yeah, I didn't read that much into it either, but I do know that Elon Musk last week tweeted the emoji of a broken heart with Bitcoin, and it seemed to send prices lower. And subsequently, Anonymous have kind of come out and made a veiled threat at Elon Musk, and I think that's some of the problem with the crypto space right now. It's it doesn't really know where it is. There's a lot of dirty stuff going on with crypto currencies, and I suppose when when Anonymous are coming out and saying it, and we know probably how governments feel about those guys, that's probably how a lot of those guys are able to fund their organization, which won't go down well with the SEC and the like. So I wonder whether we need to get some of this stuff ironed out. As I say, if all we do is focus on the use case and the amazing technology and how things are moving forward, and the fact that this might be the new financial system, basically all the good side of cryptos, all we're going to want to do is buy it. But there is this other side of it that we need to consider, and we need to sort of understand that may well start coming more and more to the surface. The stuff I'm reading is much more negative than it is positive at this particular stage. So I wonder whether we need just a wave of negativity to bring price down even further, and then we can buy something which is relatively cheap.
Not my cup of tea, but I wish all you crypto traders well. And look, I don't say I'm not in the game. I am in the game, but I'm not controlling it. I'm investing through other people. So yeah, they can do the work as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think that's fair, mate. I think that's fair.
I just want to see the results. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the work.
No, well, yeah. I mean, that's our lives over, really, isn't
it? Yep. That's good Australian logic for you.
Yeah. Does Tesla still hold 1.5 billion Bitcoin? I'm wondering whether that's what people are concerned about. When he's kind of talking, when he's posting a broken heart emoji, I wonder whether people's concern is that he's either not holding it anymore, or he's closing some of his positions, or he's about to. I don't know, but it's not a great space when you got one person, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because one of the things that we love about cryptocurrencies is the decentralized aspect of it, and you've got Jerome Powell sitting at the head of the table with the Fed, who's able to control the price of the dollar by saying something, not by doing anything, but by saying something. And so we turn to cryptocurrencies because we don't like the manipulation. And you've got somebody who hasn't even invented a cryptocurrency saying something and is able to move the whole market. And then you have to ask yourself, how decentralized is this thing? And how ethical is it that we are looking at cryptos? And that's what I'm saying. I think that there's got to be some balance in the argument that cryptos are the savior, and they are the asset class that we should all be going towards, because they are They are modern technology, and we are kind of pushing to this brave new world, which, don't get me wrong, I kind of agree with, but there is another side to it, as there always is, because
Yeah, look,
unfortunately
I
the
agree with
wheelies are
it.
involved.
I agree with it 100%. I think it's illogical to think otherwise, frankly.
Yeah, yeah,
But where it lands in terms of what the change actually is and how long it takes, etc., etc. But what the commodity actually will be, whether that's a currency, whether it's
yeah,
a thought process, I don't know. Whether we go back to barter, who knows? At the end of the day, the technology makes sense, and for that reason, I think it will happen.
yeah,
But what that looks like, I have got no idea.
yeah,
Absolutely no idea.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I keep saying it, but it has to be logical for me. And the logic part of me says the central banks, the people who actually run exchanges, if you like, are just not going to sit back and say, okay, let's go with Bitcoin. It's not going to happen.
mm,
It might be their coin. It might be, the IMF might run the world. I don't know. I've got no idea what the answer is, but blockchain makes sense to me. Bitcoin doesn't.
yes, mate, and that's I think a sentiment that I would echo. I completely agree with that. I think the technology makes sense to me. Whether it's this particular coin, different matter entirely.
Yeah.
And it's almost too early to say, because now, as more and more people jump into this space, we're going to get really, when it comes down to Satoshi Nakamoto, I think he came up with a good idea, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's implemented it the best that it can be done. Just like the first, I don't know who the first person was to come up with the idea of the car, but Henry Ford then took it on and probably came up with the best type. He sort of he managed to
Well,
kind of take it.
he had the system for making them far cheaper, didn't he? He was the
Right.
production line man.
Yeah.
That's why he's so famous. So,
Yeah.
and there'll be somebody who similarly runs the ball in a direction that we will follow as well. At the
Yeah.
moment, the followers are not everybody,
Yeah.
and until they are, you're going to get this volatility, I think.
Well, it wasn't Motorola that came up with the first mobile phone. I think it was. It was
Rings a bell.
somebody.
Yep.
So if Motorola came up with the
Sorry.
first, if they came up with the first mobile
I
phone,
didn't mean it.
no, where are they now? Apple take it on and Samsung take it on, and they come up with it, or Google take it on, whoever, Huawei, if you like. That there are kind of people that develop the system and get it better and better, and maybe that's the same thing with what's
And
going on.
they either get killed or they get rich.
They get killed or they get rich. Yeah. So Bitcoin might be the first mover, but whether it ends up being the at the top of the pile in the next 20 years is I think it's hugely questionable.
Yeah.
Need a lot of fixing up. So who's going to be the Apple of the crypto space? Maybe they're already here. Maybe they've not been invented yet. We just don't know. Dominic wants to talk about. Is it Dominic? Or is it Lewis?
I can't see the chat at the moment.
Oh, Lewis wants to talk about the pound kiwi.
The pound, my old favourite, the pound kiwi. Okay, you've got the charts, haven't you? What have you got for pound kiwi? I've got it in Terra Nullis, I think.
Let's have a look.
I've still got the order on the monthly, by the way, Lewis. If that's the question, so I still see that as possible.
No, it's getting close to a buy zone at this stage. On the shorter term timeframes, that is, looks pretty. That looks like a oh, I don't know actually. Okay, let's start out here.
Yeah, I've got it coming off resistance. I'm looking for a lower high to trade it short, frankly.
Yeah, I'd be looking at the short as well, looking at this.
But it could break out also. So, it's what I said before. It's wait for the break, because it will be either true or false. And if it's true, you wait for the retest. If it's false, you wait for the re-entry.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks to me like it's in a sell zone on the weekly anyway. The daily's getting a little bit too close, probably to here. If you're looking at something longer term, but if it breaks through that level, then that would look like a short to me as well. Yeah, it would need to get see how that horizontal level is starting to match up with that that trend line. So anything below 1955, 1955.4, then short. Really, in this area, you've got to say that there's another chance that we could get to that high again from here. You're in shorts. Yeah, as long as you got the right price. I mean, if you got this one, what a lovely bar to kind of go short on. If you got that one, then it might come back and test this area and then go again. But I'd be comfortable with a short if you got a good price. I think that would be pretty good. I wouldn't want to go short here though.
No, same.
That'd be my thesis. Anyway, mate, we're going to wrap it.
Terra Nullis.
Terra Nullis, yeah. Well, what does that mean?
No man's land.
No man's land, nice. Yeah, probably is in no man's land. We probably should wrap it up, mate. I don't know if you got anything else you want to.
Yeah, look, we could gab on for ages, of course, but it's not going to change anything in the charts at the moment. I don't see a market that's tradable, frankly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just going to hold on to what's going on right now and fix some stuff up because the market looks pretty tepid. But at the same time, it looks like it's more bullish than bearish at this stage. So I was looking for downside on the FTSE, and I don't think it's going to come. But I'm going to hold on to positions at this stage and just hedge out some risk, and then see if we can fix it up for tomorrow.
I'll just have a look at one thing for you. Yeah, no, there's nothing. I was looking at. I'll just share it, but I don't think I'm going to take the trade. As you know, I'm still enamored by euro dollar on the shorter time frames. And at the moment, I'm seeing a potential long, but I'm also seeing an untested weekly pivot dead ahead. And that concerns me. And I don't have enough room in here. Risk would be, we've still got 80 minutes to go. Risk would be about 12, 13 pips. You've only got 4 pips to the high of the day, so I don't like that. Then you've got another 2 pips to the weekly pivot. Don't like its chances. I like the scenario. You've got a bit of a double bottom sitting here and a higher low off the pivots, but you've got to get clear of the pivots, and that's the problem. I mean, what you're seeing here is price since Friday, whatever time it was, has not got out of that range. And why now? What's going to drive it out of that range? I've got no idea. Wouldn't have a clue, Lewis. I'm afraid. Lewis.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's another Aussie thing. It's a town that's got about 25 people in it in northwest New South Wales, Australia. So, and it kind of runs off. I haven't got a clue. So yeah. It's just one of my childhood things where
I like it, mate.
Haven't got a Kaluas. You're still in short on the euro. Good man. Look, I think you're going to be hanging there for a while, Lewis. Those pivots are telling me there's not a lot going to happen here this early in the week, but anything can happen, of course. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there too, mate. I'm done.
Okay, fantastic stuff. All right, guys. Thanks as always for being here with us. We'll be back tomorrow, same time and same trade channel. With Shukri is going to be with us tomorrow, I believe. So
indeed.
Let's get on with that. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you to you as always, mate. Thank you to Angel. We will see you in the morning.
Happy days. Bye.